Alrighty, let's talk some weather here. And I want to start with the big picture because what we've got here across the southeast is once again a setup that is very much dependent on where you are. If you are in the Atlanta metro, if you are in the Atlanta suburbs, it's been a loud afternoon to this point. But across the state of Alabama, morning rain, morning thunderstorms have really stifled our rain chances, but have kept us a bit cooler. We'll get into that here in just a minute. But I want to continue on this little radar check here. I'm going to hop on over to this stuff in Atlanta. I tell you what, I looked at a couple different views of this from the cameras downtown, and you had a pretty good concentration of heavy rain. It looked like small hail, and of course with that you get those gusty winds, tremendous lightning as well. Roughly 200 or so strikes within this little cluster that just skirted outside of Atlanta here. So again, this is that time of year where they will pop up in one area and in others they'll remain untouched. So the question is, does this hold together and get into our East Alabama counties? I'm not optimistic on it this evening. Again, it's about 5:20. That could happen, but right now this is kind of in that decaying phase, and it's also starting to take more of a hook around. I believe it's sort of following that urban heat island effect, and that cell is tracking around the perimeter of Atlanta, and what's left of it headed out towards I-20 and Villa Rica may begin to fizzle out here. So a check on the Wiregrass, a very active area last night. We'll keep an eye on those thunderstorms that are over near Moultrie, Alabama, Thomasville, and just to the east of Bainbridge, closer to I-65. But as those move, that could be a source of evening thunderstorms again for southeast Alabama. Temperatures, big difference. Big difference. If you headed outside today, heat levels were down in a big way. 85 in Montgomery and Birmingham, 86 in Tuscaloosa, 88 in Hamilton. Huntsville, furthest north in the state, one of the warmest in the state at 90 degrees here at 5 o'clock. So let's take a look at the HER. And I want to take this kind of segment by segment here. We'll delete that. This is this evening, and basically picking up on those thunderstorms that are over Atlanta. Now, this isn't the answer key, but if we move this forward to about 10 o'clock tonight, what do we have here? You've got two areas to watch, and because this is not the answer key, this is why we watch it. So this is the remnants of those storms that are in the Atlanta suburbs right now, and this is the remnants of what is currently along the I-65 corridor, okay? Either one of these could change trajectories. I don't think this is a big issue. I think what comes out of this stretch here could be more impactful perhaps to the Dothan area later this evening if they hold together. Again, not the answer key, but this is sort of picking up on that. I think the majority of Alabama, though, has already had the stormiest weather of the day, and for many it came in the pre-dawn hours Thursday. So with that, let's go into Friday. And with this setup here, start off the day dry. For you folks who like to get out and run, walk, it'll be unbelievably muggy, about 70, 72, dew point to match, but dry through much of the day. There's your sea breeze front. For folks who've been asking about beach forecast, an app is going to pick up on rain in this general vicinity. This is sea breeze driven. As you go throughout the day, you have relatively cool air over the water, okay? As we warm at the surface, that air over the water is now cooler. Cooler air is dense, so this flows inland, and it is rich tropical air straight from the Gulf, and that's how you get your daily sea breeze front. So, for those of you beach bound, we'll talk about the beach forecast in a minute, but this is a lot of times is why you will see just a thunderstorm icon. There's going to be thunderstorms in the vicinity of beaches almost every single day. It'll be raining right on top of your beach. Odds are probably not every single day, but we will have thunderstorms, and a lot of these tend to move inland, get to I-10 and points north throughout the afternoon. So, all right, let's back to the future view here, and this is at 1 o'clock on Friday. And we'll, again, track those thunderstorms. I lived in the Dothan area for a long time, and it takes time. You know, you're looking at 12, 1, 2 o'clock for sea breeze thunderstorms along I-10. Then you get up into, the state line of Florida and into Alabama, and that's 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. In this case, about 5 o'clock, got a cluster of thunderstorms over Dothan. For the northern half of the state, pretty quiet through 5 o'clock, and then once again, we have a bit of an easterly wind in the mid-levels, and that's going to steer what forms over Georgia, and that'll bring that in our direction. So whatever holds together tomorrow evening will move into East Alabama, and I think our best chances of rain, honestly, if I had to pick here, are going to be this side of the state. This is our better chance of rain if you're on this side of that line, because the storms are going to initiate most likely over Georgia. They will probably not hold together too long once the sun goes down, and I would just put my money on storms developing east and lingering east of I-65 overnight Friday. Some of those, hey, this model's showing this getting all the way to Birmingham. This is at about 3 o'clock in the morning. This is feasible. This is possible. You got warm air in place. If it's untapped during the day, there's enough energy left over from daytime heating for these to feed off of for a little while. So we'll see that quite often in the summer months. So that's your future view through Saturday morning. This is a look at the NDFD. This is the probabilistic outlook for rain. This is for Friday. And again, showing those darker greens, kind of where I just hinted at, the eastern half of Alabama and the southern half of Alabama. This is your sea breeze front that can sometimes get all the way up to Montgomery. And you've got the more convective focus in central Alabama. Everywhere is going to run, about a 40% chance of rain. Your higher spots about 55 to 75% coverage. All right, Friday's highs, reasonable. I think for the next several days, we can say 87 to about 92 for northern Alabama, about 88, 89 to 93 for southern Alabama. But a lot of this is going to depend on when do we have the thunderstorms arrive? When does that convection peak? Because if you get it early, it'll keep those highs in relative check here. So let's go to Sunday now. High temperatures is coming off the European, which has been cool, but the GFS has been out to lunch hot, so we're going to use this one. Got Monday at about 93, 94, and again, this is going to depend on what we see from a convective standpoint. And if we see convective activity, especially across southern half of the state, like we're showing here on this model, it's going to be hotter north of I-20, and that stands to reason on Monday. I have lower rain chances, lower rain coverage for northern Alabama on Monday. Tuesday, we're back to a decent coverage, I think about 60% or so, and that will keep those heat values in check. Again, 8 to 14 days, I don't see anything definitive with trends. Sure, it could be a little bit above average, but not incredibly. So just a hint, just a tad above average through the first 10 days in July. Rain totals, 7-day rain totals. Not sure that this data is coming in properly here, but this is a gauge of summertime, right? So I think for some of this data might not be coming in here readily, but 7-day outlook going to call for between 1 inch, 2 inches of rain, really statewide, and a lot of it's going to be driven by where we see that convective activity. All right, let's go to the tropical look here. That nonsense storm Andrea fizzled. I still don't really know why that got a name. We have really good technology now. So storms like that, we wouldn't have seen in the early satellite era before then, didn't get a name. And it's stuff like this that'll skew your tropical numbers at the end of the year. If we go down as having an above average season, and that's the tipping point, that's a little skewed in my opinion, because sure, it got a name. It intensified for about 12 hours overnight in the North Atlantic, where it was doomed to fizzle very, very quickly. So just 2 cents there. Rest of our tropical outlook for the next 7 days, pretty quiet. You gotta love that, which takes me to my next point. A lot of people headed to the beach. Okay, you pull up your app, you pop it up, and you see thunderstorm, 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 thunderstorm. Odds are if you're at the beach and you do a 360 view every day, you're going to be able to see a towering cumulonimbus, a towering thunderstorm. We'll likely have rain along the coast, along the Florida Big Bend area, along Alabama's coast, Mississippi's coast every day next week and into this weekend. But it's not going to rain at your beach all day, every day. It usually doesn't work like that unless we have an organized low that is in place. So let's go to our 3K for the short term. Water temperatures, by the way, pretty warm, 85 to about 88, 89 degrees. This is our futurecast beginning Friday morning, and we may start the day with some cloud cover, scattered thunderstorms. Again, they will move on shore, right along the immediate beach. You're likely looking at periods of sunshine and those afternoon downpours. The beach is its own little microclimate. So while, yes, every day there's the chance of rain and storms, it's not going to rain all day. It's just you go down there and 10, 15 miles north of the beach, you'll get those torrential downpours. I used to drive through them on my way from Dothan, and you get to the beach and boom, the sun's out. So just keep an eye out, keep an ear out for that thunder, that lightning. You go inside, and these things typically move on shore, move further inland throughout the day by, Friday afternoon, Friday evening. A lot of this is pushed inland with that sea breeze front and no longer poses a threat. Same deal on Saturday, some cloud cover early. We may have a more organized MCS moving along the coast and in the Gulf. Even better, this comes through early. This will kind of wipe out the atmosphere for a few hours. Then you'll have late morning, early afternoon that should be, by and large, rain-free. So if you're headed to the beach, just know this. Your app's probably going to tell you storms every day, and that just won't be the case. It will not rain out your beach vacation, but you will probably have those daily thunderstorms to keep an eye out for, and we'll do the same. All right, rip current risk over the next couple of days coming out of the National Weather Service offices in Mobile. Low risk through Sunday, low to moderate, and I've kind of painted the picture there from Bay County further east all the way over to Apalachicola, Mexico Beach. You have a slightly higher risk. Overall, the threat is low to moderate at best, but pretty quiet from that standpoint. Again, always check the flags before heading into the water, as these are changed at the local level throughout the day as conditions change. So that's it for your forecast today. Hope you guys are having a great week. Great start to the summer. We'll have another update coming up tomorrow. See ya.